The only MMO to ever hold me was Phantasy Star Universe, but now there is another, Final Fantasy XIV. Above all else, it's a good comeback story. When it was released, it was an unfinished mess. Then Square Enix decided to say, well, let's hire someone who knows what they're doing and fix this shit. And they did. Now we have a very decent MMO, and if like me you're kind of new to theme park MMOs, then have no fear, because Final Fantasy XIV's best positive point is that it's a great teacher. From the outset, the game introduces the mechanics of your class at a steady pace. Once you hit level 15, you can enter the novice arena, which also teaches you how to properly perform your role in group content such as dungeons. And a helpful tip, do this because at the end you get a ring that gives you 30% more XP until level 30. Leveling didn't feel like an overly massive grind to me. It's a nice game to just chip away at. You unlock new activities quite often, and if I told you everything you could do in the leveling experience, we would be here all day. I'll just say that there is a nice variety of things to do. The same goes for the endgame. Most of these things do involve combat. It's very similar to your standard MMO combat. It's hotkey based with cooldown abilities. It's a lot slower than most, and I have seen that put people off, but it seems to be done because the combat has a big emphasis on your position. Most enemies launch attacks which cover a certain area, so you have to get out of the way, and some of your attacks do more damage or cause a debuff if you're in a certain position like an enemy's flank. So these slower cooldowns allow you more time to move. Most of the dungeon bosses have unique tactics to learn each. A few can be a bit obtuse if it's your group's first time through, but it's a lot more interesting than here's a boss with a massive health bar, now spam them hotkeys. Everything you do rewards you in some way. You never really feel like your time is being wasted, and it goes a long way to keep you invested. Everything in the game is just convenient, but not to the point that it feels like it's holding your hand all the time. You still have to unlock certain dungeons and activities by doing the quest associated with it, which gives you a reason to explore the game's gorgeous world. The group finder works well and the community is very friendly, so you won't have trouble finding people to play with. Obviously you get one or two arseholes, but whatever, just tell them to munch your gooch. The job system seems like it was designed for indecisive little bitches like me. If you're bored of your current job, for example a lancer, you can change to another one by changing the weapon in your hand. You have to level each one up separately, except for hybrid jobs like the ninja, which is where you need to have a rogue at level 30 and a pugilist at 15. This will end up being whatever level your rogue is. Each job has quests associated with them as well. There's also the crafting jobs, which I haven't dared dive into yet, but people have told me the crafting system is very good and requires more than just clicking items then craft. So no need to create a whole new character to try out a class and take about 5 years to come up with a fucking name. Through your journey leveling, and beyond that actually, there is the game's story quests. Whilst the story can be engaging, too few of the cutscenes are voiced. This does get better when you're onto the Heavensward expansion however. There's also massive sections of padding in the story. One particular point has you doing several quests and a whole dungeon just for some cheese for a feast. It's a shame really, because it's pretty engaging and features some pretty likeable characters, though I wish I would knock the pretentious medieval English speak on the head. You know, shit like thou and doth. You're not a Shakespeare play, you're a video game. Some of the side quests also have neat little plots to them, but again, barely any are voiced, so if you're not into reading, be warned. The footage you're seeing in the video is from the PS4 and PC version, because my PS4's being a dick. And as you can see, it looks great on both. It's impressive how good the game can look on even meager hardware. The environments all have a nice amount of attention to detail put into them, making the world feel a lot more real. The character models look a bit doll-like. When they try to emote, it can look really stiff and sometimes pretty creepy. Some of the early game armors look more like BDSM gear than protection for a stalwart hero, but all around it's a pretty decent visual package. If you want to try out the game, there is a 14-day trial available that has some pretty strict restrictions like not being able to invite anyone to a party, so if you and a friend want to try it out, it's going to be a bit of a piss off. You get 1 month of playtime when you buy the base game, which is around a tenner anyway, so I would just do that. I've seen people put off by the subscription fee, but personally I would rather have a subscription and a level playing field like this than the horrible cash shop pay to win, pay for convenience MMOs out there. You can unlock everything, cosmetic or otherwise, without spending any money, without too much of a hassle, but there is a cash shop to buy cosmetics and mounts, as well as name changes and other services. Whether you think that is okay is up to you. I have been meaning to do a video on this game for ages because I've put some serious time into it, and I just can't cover everything without this video being 3 years long. So if you want an MMO that doesn't waste your time, has an engaging world, fun yet familiar combat, and a pretty decent community, then give it a try. It even has player housing, which not enough games have nowadays. What exactly do RPG devs have against it anyway?